in your week off, how did you keep things fresh? I mean, I know you went to Chicago, you did some bowling, but it's, your last week off until the end of the regular season. How did you use that to your advantage?
Well, I thought we had good practice. We gave them Wednesday off. We practiced Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, obviously, in Chicago on Tuesday. It was a good day for the team just to get away from campus a little bit and practice at the United Center. Got to watch Blackhawks in Detroit, both their morning skates, and stayed for the game. So that was a fun day. But really, I think the week was a good week of practice. We got Luke some rest. Luke just practiced on Tuesday. He'll be back practicing regularly this week. I think that was important because he didn't get a break with the World Junior stuff. So get him a little bit of time away, I think, will help him in the long run. So he'll be back practicing today. But I thought it was a good week. No practice Saturday, Sunday, and anxious to get back out there and get going again today.
Andy?
Tony, it's Gopher Week. Are the same emotions there as a coach as they were as a player?
Well, there are, but it's also important, and it's really important for our team. You don't want to get too wound up. You want to focus on the game as a game. And, the rivalry and the excitement of getting to play the Gophers is great. But it's really important for our team, especially with where we've come, to just focus on what we've done well and focus on the game plan that's at hand. It doesn't matter if we're playing the Gophers, doesn't matter if we're playing Merrimack, doesn't matter if we're playing DU. We've been successful this year by playing a certain way. We've been effective playing a certain way. And when you play a team like Minnesota and all the hype's put into it, and you think about the rivalry and you think about all the excitement of, what the building might be like on the weekend, sometimes you lose your focus on what's important. So it's important for us this week in practice to not get too wound up. You can't play the game today. You can't play the game until the puck drops on Friday. And then you also want to make sure when it does start that you're focused on what your team does well and not get caught up in too much of the history or excitement that's somewhat of an emotional charge. And I think that's the thing our team's been really good at this year, has been consistent with our play on no matter who we've played. And that's the kind of approach we want to have this week. But yes, I'm excited.
Todd?
With your goaltending situation, has anything changed compared to the start of the season where you saw Matt as your number one guy and Jack getting some time? Has that changed in your mind?
It has, because of the injury one and because of Jack's chance to play and play really well. It's given us the option of having two guys that we know can play well. And I think last weekend really helped that argument because they both came in and played well. I think I know who's starting Friday. I won't tell those guys until Friday morning. But it's possible they'll both play again this weekend.
Andy?
Tony, what was your first impression of Grant Bessie when you got here, and how has that evolved to this moment?
Tremendous offensive, gifted player. I think his play away from the puck has improved dramatically. I think his commitment to play away from the puck and make his line mates better is something that I think he's really taken that challenge and run with it. So I think the past probably 8 to 10 games, I've seen a dramatic improvement of his play away from the puck. And I'm just going to point out a few things. If you look at some of the goals we've scored in the past 4 or 5 weekends, he's been the net front on 3 of those goals, where he's the screen guy and he's paying a price in front of the net for his teammates. And we've asked him to improve in that area. We asked him to be more committed to playing well without the puck. We've asked him to pay a bigger price around the net and on the boards and everything else like that. And I think his game has continued to get better. So I think he's become a more complete player. He's easier to throw over the boards in every situation now. I think he's getting ready to get to another level as well. I think he's going to continue to improve this year as we go along.
Brian?
Tony, piggybacking off that, from a layman's perspective, it looks like he's playing more confidently, too. I know you haven't known him very long, but do you see that confidence growing?
I think so, and that's the one thing you want all your players to feel. And, that's our job as coaches, is to give them reps in practice, to give them the right line mates, to give them the right system, to have confidence in themselves and their teammates and in the game plan. And Grant's been a great leader for us. I think that part of it, he's quieter than I thought he would be, but when he needs to stand up and say something, he's there for you. And I think his leadership skills have really impressed me. I think he's done a really nice job with Luke and Cameron, along with some other guys, but I think that's been really important for our team, for a team that, coming into the year, we had some questions. Coming into the year, we had some doubts based on, the last couple of years, and I think the leadership group, and he's a big part of it, has really helped us moving forward.
Tony, I think at the start of the season, you outlined the mindset of the veterans on this team, having gone through what they had gone through the previous 2 seasons. Was Grant one of those people that was at the lower end of the scale that really needed to get propped up, or where did he fit on that, in that spectrum?
You look at his offensive numbers and how gifted he is offensively, and that should have been a guy that had a ton of confidence in himself. And I think the biggest thing, when you use the word confidence, is for you to be successful, you need confidence in your teammates, you need confidence in your system, you need confidence in what's going on around you. And I think that part of it for him has come a long way. I think as a group, I hope we feel confident going into a series like this. I think we have all year. I think that our play's been indicative of that when we've gone into Denver and we've gone and played BC here early in the year, and we've played some other top teams. And I think, mentioning Grant and Luke and Cameron, those are your leaders, and those guys need to walk around confident. They need to walk around believing that we're going to do well and have success. And I think his mindset and his actions have stood up in that way of helping our team.
Back to your goalies for a second. With the way they played last weekend, did they make that decision more difficult for you to decide which one to go to? And are you comfortable with going back and forth
I think the
between them?
comfort part's the most important thing. We're comfortable with either of them, and that, I think, when Matt had that injury, coming off of that injury, you're always worried, how is a goalie going to respond coming back in the middle of a season off an injury like that? And he settled into that game. It was a tough start for him because they banked that one off from behind him, and then he made a great save on a recovery of another one they banked in that was close to going in. So he settled in and looked very poised in there. I think, he felt good about his performance. I think his teammates felt good about his performance, and certainly we did as coaches. So I don't think it makes it harder. I think it just gives us the luxury of knowing that 2 guys will be ready to play and play well for us.
Coach, when you look at the tape of Minnesota, what kind of challenges do they present to your team?
Speed and skill. There's no question. They're an extremely skilled team. I think they got a ton of individual skill. It's similar to when I watch the tape, I see what we saw when BC came in here. A team with a lot of one-on-one skill, speed, and their power play is great. So that'll be a big factor in the series is how we execute on both specialty teams. And again, we don't want to get it to be where it's one of those emotional series where it's just run and gun and fly all over the place. We want to be controlled and disciplined in our play. We look forward to the challenge. They're a heck of a hockey team.
With Greenways, you're planning still to reintroduce contact to him as this week goes along and hopefully have him ready at the end?
Yeah, he skated on his own and had a pretty good practice by himself yesterday. He'll be in practice to start today. How physical or how much he'll be involved in the physical part of it will be determined as we go along. But he feels comfortable and making good progress and should be ready to go on Friday.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.